Hey everyone, Big Bear Ballin' back again. Sorry for the delay in a video. I did want to post another one in 6 engine rooms with just some battles, but I'll explain during one of the queue times. So I just jumped to 7 engine rooms, and you're going to be watching me figure out what base I want to have. So this is my first rendition that I made, and you know, it just takes time figuring out what base is going to work. I fell down a little bit. I was all the way up to number 6 there, where Pietrick is in a Legendary 3, but I fell down a little bit towards the end. Once people started getting heavy choppers and seekers, I started losing some battles when they were combining those. I really like the circle base. I'm gonna maybe try that if this one doesn't work out. So we'll end up hopping into some battles after I show you my tech tree. So going back to the beginning, you know, I've got basically everything maxed by this point. There's nothing, oh, sorry for the message, nothing really that I have to spend tokens on. I have everything I want except for some of the choice nodes there. And you're gonna see a few more messages pop up. I apologize. My wife and I actually just are under contract on a house as of yesterday, so pretty exciting stuff. So looking at the shock launcher there, I'm gonna go for that, but I also want building damage. I'm not quite sure what to go for. And then the microwave too. Those are the 3 things that are on my list. I don't really know what I'm gonna do first. I really want all of those. I'm thinking building damage, but I just need to see how my base turns out and what I think will help me the most. So yeah, I tried to make a video for 6 engine rooms, and I did. I collected almost an hour's worth of footage, just battles. I took out all the queue times. Tried to put it with music, and it just copyrights suck on YouTube. I put in all the copyright information, but it still got banned basically a couple times. So that took me like a day and a half of working on that, and then by the time I actually decided to do audio for all that footage, I just couldn't even remember what was going on or what was going through my head. So I just decided I'll just, you know, skip it. I was almost at 7 engine rooms by that time, so you know, here I am trying to put this out pretty quickly. I just got into 7 engine rooms this morning, and I'm hoping to post this on a Monday night, but we'll see what happens. I gotta combine it all. So this base is actually the base of the current number 1 that this guy copied, and it gave me a little bit of trouble. I've been running with 1 Scorcher sometimes, just depending on the base. So I have Kavan on the left just because there's a little bit more, and I was going to drop the Scorcher on the right, and Kavan starts running across the field, which is terrible. And then him running across the field made me have to shock him. I missed the hot pot. And then the grappler starts pulling in the bombardiers because I got nothing over there. It ended up being a hot mess, honestly. You know, it pulls the Scorcher at least to protect the bombardiers that's going to pick from being taken out by that cannon. Tried to drop critters on the shock launcher for distraction. It works a little bit so they don't keep picking off more bombardiers, but I'm having to waste a lot of GBE on the right to just keep the few bombardiers I have alive. I had 3 of them, and then the sniper tower took out 2 of them. Go figure. So that hurt me. Usually I'm still barding out one of these 100,000 health engine rooms, but I know at this point I've had to waste so much I can't. So I'm just keeping things shocked, just trying to save troops and go from there. These bases, the 6 engine rooms, I mean, after a while, I mean, you get pretty good at deciding what you want to do, but every now and then you run into some snafus, some issues that throw you for a loop, like this one did. It's a good base. I mean, that grappler in the middle does a lot of really good work pulling in troops if you try the split, so I just didn't do it the best. 222 is really slow for me. I can beat pretty much any base above 230 if I do things well, and 240s if I do really well. And then he's using heavy choppers and seekers, it looks like, and he's going to finish me pretty quickly here. And yeah, I'm looking for my base I want. They need to be consistently under 230. That's going to be my measuring stick for my defense. If I can get them consistently at 230 or under, I feel like that gives me a good shot with my offense to win the majority of my battles. So that's what I'm looking for. That wasn't it. So I actually I only do one attack with this base and I scrap it because it was just way too easy. So he's got 5 heavy choppers, Bart's out the shock launcher, then he's just going to lead them ahead of the Seekers, which if you want to watch a good heavy chopper Seeker combo attack, this is it. He takes out both the flamethrowers with the heavy and the heavy choppers, flares them ahead, lets all the heavies take the damage while the Seekers just go through. He flares a little bit early here maybe, but he's trying to get there fast enough to take out all the mines and stuff. Then he's going to flare them ahead to the next, maybe a little early again, because now the Seekers are going to get hit. But there's, you know, he's got so many troops left, it just really didn't matter. And at this point, he just is going to take me out. So that base, see ya, didn't work. And that's what this is. I mean, you don't just get the right base right off the bat. It takes a lot of tweaking, even when you get a good one. So you just play around with it, figure out what works. Like I said, in 6 engine rooms, I dropped a ton. I dropped almost over a rank and a half until I found the base and then built back up. So I know once I get it, I'll build back up, but I'm dropping down a little. This is my rendition of the circle base. With the extra engine room, the 7th one, I put it in the middle. Try and keep it a little hidden, a little out of the way. Maybe they have to flare to it to get it instead as all the troops are circling around. So we're going to give this a try. You know, it worked for the guy that was number 1 on the leaderboard for a while in 6 engine rooms, so I figured I'd give it a try and see what I think. Seems like it'd be good against Seekers and heavy choppers. And then, you know, it's fairly slow, I would imagine, with bombardiers, but we're going to see what happens. I really like 7 engine rooms so far, though. It's been pretty fun. I still think some of the 6 engine rooms are a little bit tougher, but I don't think people have really found the good 7 engine room bases yet. It generally takes at least a few days of people being consistently in there to really find a good layout. And people, even the 6 engine room ones have been tweaked quite a bit since people first started getting there. I like that this engine room on the bottom is so easy to take out. There's 3 defenses, none of them can hit bombardiers. I mean, that's great for me. So I don't have to spend a lot of energy or troops there. I've got, with this type of a base, this is the most common I see in 6 engine rooms still. The 1 on the bottom, and then 3 in the right, 2 in the top. So I've gotten pretty good at these as far as knowing what I want to do with my troops. He's got a lot of cannons in the front, so I figured I start with riflemen, and then it's flamethrowers and machine guns behind it. So I'm going to bring the Scorcher just to make it a little bit easier so I can save, you know, another Kavan second wind, maybe, to where I save some GBE. Instead of spawning riflemen, the Scorcher should withstand a lot of that. So things look good on the bottom, things are progressing on the right. Put down my 4 barrage, and I still need 7 artillery to take out that engine room that has 100,000 health. And I'm just gonna, those troops at the bottom, because I attacked the right side, they actually funnel to this other engine room on these types of bases. So I can start taking out the right engine rooms, and these are already pretty much set up to be flared to this one second from the top while I'm barding out the other. So I've got a few bombardiers there, as you can see, trying to start shooting already. So really good time there. I don't think he had any rocket launchers, which those are a big help with that type of base. I think they cut off quite a bit of time. And then that's going to be hard for him to beat. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I had another base before the circle base that I tried, and I didn't even film it because it was so terrible. I got taken out in, like, with 3 minutes, 10 seconds left. It was just a horrible idea. So I didn't even show it because I don't even want you guys to try it or give it a chance, because it's just not going to happen. What did I do? I can't remember what I did with it. I'll have to go back and look, but it just wasn't good at all. So circle base, he went with 1 heavy chopper on each side and then a bunch of bombardiers, 3 boats on each. And, you know, I'm thinking right now that's pretty good. I've got the heavy choppers almost taken out. They've got pretty low health right at the start of the attack. And he had to use 6 boats of bombardiers, and it's still taking him quite a while to get through my base. So I'm thinking, you know, this base might work. He's having to keep the shock launcher, or the shock blaster shocked there for a little bit. So I'm thinking this could work pretty well. You know, it just takes a little bit to work around that whole circle, and you don't know which side's gonna, you want them to collapse around the back and the middle all at the same time, but you just don't know which side they're gonna collapse on. And in the meantime, I'm making tweaks, you know, to these bases, and I'm watching each replay, and I'm seeing maybe I'm moving a shock mine or moving a defense a little bit that was too clumped together for Seekers. I'm making all these changes, and that's what you got to do. You got to watch these replays whenever you go to make a new base. Watch the defensive replays and see how they're attacking you. And, you know, sometimes just moving a building or two can make a big difference as far as the strategy they're going to use. So again, pretty similar 6 engine room base. This is my standard for this. I do 3 riflemen, 5 bombardiers. I do 1 rifleman, 2 bombardiers on the bottom, and then I get my other split drop, the 1 and 3 on the right, and I have to put the bombardiers on the left. You see that shock blaster they've got on the right? It'll start picking off your bombardiers if you don't keep an eye on it. And then I actually messed up. I usually drop that other boat of riflemen on this left side, again, so they can travel up that rocket launcher row and start targeting that other engine room, but I dropped them over here for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And you can see why I needed them on the left, because now I'm having to waste GBE on this rocket launcher on the left to keep it shocked, so they still travel up the base. And, you know, now that I've got that done, it's good, and I'm just going to focus over here. Keeping the microwaver shocked again, it doesn't do very well for me. Kavan was a little exposed there, but he didn't get picked off. And I'm still going to try barding out that far engine room. I don't know if I'll get enough. I had to use a little more than I wanted because I didn't do the drops correctly. But I'm still going to try and take it out. You get a lot of GB for these engine rooms, so they're fanned out pretty well on the right. They're both simultaneously taking those out. These guys are about to start taking out that one. And then with all those engine rooms taken out, I have enough pretty close to take that engine room. I do take it out. Could have been a little faster if I did my drops right, but that's still a decent time. And then another heavy chopper bombardier rush here. And just watching it play out. You know, looks like I got a lot of my base up, so it's still going how I want it to, I think. He brought a few more heavy choppers, so it's basically the same attack as the other one, but he's got less bombardiers, so theoretically he should be slower than the other guy was, because he's got less offensive firepower and more, you know, meat shield with no damage. So he's going to put a pretty slow time. And easy victory for me. Look at all that GBE. Saved a lot of time with that. But still 217. I think I only get 3 stars. It's not much. So, should have won that one. Easily. So circle base, you know, seems to be doing all right so far. I'm going to roll with it a little further. See what happens. I hope all your guys' warship seasons are going okay, that you're progressing and not getting too stuck. It is a bit of a grind, back in 5 engine rooms right now, and even starting to be in 6. So, you know, just keep progressing, work on your attack strategy, refine your base, and, you know, hopefully you guys can keep moving up the ranks. So 7 engine room base. I haven't seen a lot of these yet, so I'm still trying to figure out how to attack these. I'm going to do a 3-way split drop, and I'm going to bring the Scorcher in on the left side because he's got the Flotsam and the couple cannons, and the Scorcher should give that one boat of bombardiers enough time to take out those 2 engine rooms. So I'm going to move them along the left, I end up flaring. I still only have the 11-second flares, which I like, but those sniper towers are pretty close, so the bombardiers are going to be pulled back to them, so I have to drop another flare, which I should have done sooner because I lost a few seconds just waiting for that flare to expire before I drop these guys. And I drop the riflemen while the flare's still going because, you know, they'll run out and they'll still target those. And I've got one boat rifleman and one bombardier on the right. I'm just trying to take out that single engine room, and I'm going to BART out the other one. And then I'm going to use Kavan, which he takes a cannon to the face, but I maxed him out. So, and I shocked the shock launcher to keep him alive, just because that AoE damage. If I didn't have him maxed, I would have lost Kavan there. So that was helpful with all these extra tokens to max him up. So things are going pretty well. I'm going to start barraging this out. And it's still before barrage 7 artillery to take it. And that should take that out. And then I can flare this bottom engine room, shock, and then get that done pretty quickly. So pretty good attack there. The 3-way split worked pretty well. Still could have shaved off a few seconds, but I'm happy with it. 231 looks okay, and then I go back to this, and he ends up taking me out in about 239, 238. So I'm still not quite happy with it, and I haven't even seen a lot of Seeker attacks with this base yet. It's just been heavy bombardiers. So I ended up changing the base after this just because I think it should be a little harder, and if they're using heavy bombardiers, they should be going slightly slower. And he didn't even have heavy choppers, he just had heavies. So that was actually what did it for me, that he didn't even need the heavy choppers to just progress through the base and post a good time. And then he shocks all those, the machine guns and the flamethrower there. So I actually changed my base after this because of that to try and keep them a little more spread out. And they just take out that other engine room. So really good attack by him, actually. It's a good use. Sometimes you can get some really good attacks with the bombardiers picking off one side of the base and the Seekers doing the other. You'll have to make sure you check the bases out that you're watching, that you're attacking, because with the 2 ramps where they are, depending on the base, you can do a pretty good job of that. And it was just a little too easy for him to take those last 2 engine rooms. So, like I said, I changed the base here. He's only got a few bombardiers, but I didn't like it. So you can see me right now. I'm switching these around a little bit, trying to make it to where they're doing a little more work, where you can't shock all of them. At least keep one of those defenses doing something to the Seekers so they don't just have to use one shock and they're good. And I decided to have a little more cannon pressure on them, and then this machine gun is going to protect that other engine room a little bit better so they're not in its dead spot. And then this is my new base that I have, my first rendition of it. Just trying to protect those back 2 engine rooms. I've got mines up the right to keep a delay drop of Seekers or anything from getting to that engine room. I've got a shock mine up at the left, top left, to protect against Seekers. And I'm just trying to funnel everything into the middle and make them have to fan out. And they've got to traverse the whole base, theoretically, because I've got engine rooms at all the ramps and then in the middle. And then, hopefully, they'll have to go to those back 2 engine rooms. Larry, been facing Larry a lot. Another nice engine room for me on the bottom. So going back to my standard drop, I think I do only 1 bombardier on the bottom because I don't need the 2. 1 and then 4. He doesn't have a shock blaster, so that's fine. Take out some of those mines. On that second drop in the back right of the critters, I could have waited a little bit so I distract the defenses. Kavan gets pulled in there. Let me talk about that. I had to smoke him real quick and keep him under the smoke before he got popped. A lot of times they keep a cannon near that grappler, so whatever gets pulled in is instantly just taken out. But luckily he only had the machine gun, so I was able to recover there. I forget I have smokes and I can cover them. I don't really use smokes that often, so I was a little late on that. It caught me by surprise too. I didn't realize he was going to be taken in. But I should have waited on that second critter until I was a little bit closer so I get some distraction, maybe save some of the riflemen. So they're not that important, they're just my meat shield, but you know, maybe it saves a little time. And then I take these out pretty quickly, just waiting on this last artillery to take that out. Again, 249, really good time. No rocket launchers. I mean, if there's no rocket launchers with that type of base, it should be pretty straightforward. So he's got a bunch of heavy choppers on the right, and he's got the one seeker boat on the bottom, trying to take those out. And they end up doing that. I don't really have a lot of coverage on the bottom right now. And then those seekers are actually going to travel up to the top because he took out both those middle engine rooms already. And then they do not take out that engine room, so he had to travel quite a bit of the base to try and get to me. And I'm already, you know, basically finishing his base at this time, and he's still got a bunch of stuff he's got to do on mine. So that's a good sign, you know, if you can pass a heavy chopper seeker attack on your first defense on a base. That's a good sign, because those are tough bases to defend. And he still does 230 or 229. So met my mark on the first attack under 230. So it seems promising. But he doesn't have bullet either. So, I mean, once people get bullet with those heavy chopper seeker combined attacks with the follow, where you have the heavy choppers go first and the seekers follow, that's going to be pretty tough. But I don't think they'll be able to do that on this base because of how spread out it is. They'll have to be split dropping seekers and heavy choppers. Yep, so a lot of heavy choppers there. He was a little slow taking out that shock launcher, so I think I delayed him by a few seconds, shocking all those heavies. And he's taking out my shock mine. He's just going to let those do some damage. I'm not really hitting them hardly at all. I thought the shock launcher here would be hitting the seekers on the bottom, but because he had the troops in the middle already, it was a little closer, so they decided to attack the middle troops first. So I'm just trying to get a little closer coverage, bring the cannon in, bring the sniper tower in, just keep them a little closer so they can hit the seekers a little bit more readily. And I'm just watching again, just seeing if what I did made a difference or not. So I'm bringing in the machine gun closer where that cannon is to do a little more upfront damage, and I'm bringing the cannon back to be able to still pick them off, because it doesn't matter the distance on the cannon if you get hit. I always think the machine gun does way more damage on seekers than it does. It really doesn't do a whole lot, honestly. Neither does the flamethrower does, or you'd think it does too, but with the 100% health, it really doesn't do much. The machine gun especially, it's just sort of a pea shooter. But better than nothing. So he's got a little bit of a different 6-engine room base. It's just a little more spread out. And he's got 3 at the top instead of 3 in the right. So I'm going to change up my troop combo a little bit. So I've got those there. And then I'm going to drop most of my troops on this left side. Really good critter there, taking out every single one of those mines, basically. And I started on the right because I wanted these left troops to fan out. And Kavan starts running across the field again. And instead of shocking him this time, I just do a second wind, and that creates troops, one, to keep the shock blaster busy, but it gave him enough time because he has to stop to do it to where the defenses on the left started getting damaged to where he ran back to the left, which is where I want him. So those troops on the bottom are now funneling up the right side. The troops on the left are all funneling up. This is a really good spread here. I actually didn't know it would go this well, but this is basically exactly what I was hoping for with this attack. You'd think they'd all go the shock blaster in the middle, but because the left troops had taken it out already, they all just went right up that right side. And even still, it's not quite the 249 I posted. It's a little slower, but really not bad for my first time seeing this base. 237, pretty good time still. You know, again, if I hold to that under 230, then I win. And again, right at 229, under 230, I feel confident in my attack if I can hold them under 230. Sorry, my throat's a little sore today. Sorry about all the coughs. So he does a 3-way split, heavy chopper bombardiers, and it just takes some time, you know, doing a 3-way split like that. Just they gotta all work up, and then they all meet in the middle. Then you've got to split 2 ways at the top. So you see this little top left bombardier that split off? He was able to start attacking that engine room, which I really didn't like. That he starts in the shock mine. I had a little too far out of range. So he's already starting to damage this other engine room. And then he's going to BART out the right engine room. And then he saves probably a few seconds because only a few missiles have to hit that the left engine room, because that single guy was hitting it for about 15 seconds. So I make a couple quick changes, bring that closer in. The fact that just one peeled off means I had it really close. So I think just the one tile change will keep it to where I don't have to worry about him. Putting in a little extra mine coverage, moving that shock mine closer to try and hit him. Just trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. And all it took is that one bombardier to save about at least 5 seconds. So just making a little tweak can go a long way, I hope. Zabihullah. So looks like another base. You see his grappler hidden behind the trophies. I did not see it at first, and caught me by surprise a little bit. I know Dr. Rain has been talking about hiding his grappler there as well. So definitely a little bit of a good strategy. I did not see it. It does sort of blend in, right? I'm going to do the same attack I did on the other base, since that one worked pretty well. So I saw that it pulled in a bombardier, so I go ahead and shock the cannon so it doesn't take him out instantly. And then I don't have to worry about anything anymore. The shock launcher is now focused on the above troops. So I'm just letting those 2 bombardiers just get pulled in and take out the grappler. It's not really too big of an issue. But that's what I mean. They hide that cannon there right next to it, so if it does pull in a bombardier, it's instantly gone. And then again, really nice split. I've got all my troops funneling, some attacking the left, some attacking that right. Then as soon as this goes down, early flare, and shock, and unload the rest of my GBE on it. .232, slightly slower. I think that the 3 engine room on the top is honestly a little bit tougher for my troop combo than the one with the 3 engines on the short right side. And he ends up taking me out. He's going to BART out that bottom engine room. I really thought I might get him at this point. He's only got 1 heavy chopper left. I've got my shock launcher just keeping him shocked. I've got the shock blaster. Rocket launchers are pounding him. But he was able to take off so much health that he just whittles me down in the nick of time to beat me there. I'm just hoping, I'm hoping, but I couldn't get enough there. So he got me with a few seconds to spare. He had a lot of extra GBE for whatever reason. But, you know, that's okay. So even still, I like my base. You're going to, you know, people are going to have good attacks against you sometimes, and that was a good attack. See what he does. So he's got 3 heavy choppers on the right, followed by seekers. He's going to lead them up ahead, which, you know, have done really well is good. 1 bow to seeker on either side, taking out these bottom 2 engine rooms, which I still don't really like. I wish I could protect against a single bow to seekers, honestly, but I really like having my flamethrowers in the middle to do all the damage with the damage amp, so I don't really know what I'm going to do yet with that. And even still, he barely took me out, so I still feel good. So he took out the top engine room, but he didn't take out the bottom one, so that tells me the top one's a little bit weaker defense-wise, because they were both attacked by 1 bow to seekers, right? So that tells me I need to tweak the top a little bit more than I need to tweak the bottom. If he doesn't take out both of those, then, you know, he doesn't have enough GBE maybe to whittle this down, and I get the win. So, and then we're back to where we pulled in initially, where he just takes me out. Tough loss. I really wanted that one. So I'm moving these mines back over here because, as you saw, the seekers didn't hit them at all. And they actually did fan out to these mines on the left. The 3 that are already there, they did fan out that direction. But I'm going to put a couple more just in case, moving the cannon a little closer. And I'm just keeping those mines away from the shock mine that's behind the sniper tower, so they have to waste more GBE to take out all of those. And I'm going to put a few mines along the back, you know, just do a little extra damage on those heavies or seekers, whatever they might be bringing across there. See if I can, you know, do that last little bit of damage to save myself, unlike that last attack. You know, maybe those 5 mines are the difference between a win or, you know, that loss I had. Just tweaking. Little tweaks. So as you find a base you're comfortable with that seems to be good, don't give up. Don't give up on it right away. If you like the base, if it seems good, just make those little tweaks and try and really fine tune it. Another, you know, 3 on the right, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. They're getting a little diversity with it, with some of the whichever defenses they have. This one's a little different with the microwaver closer to the top, but it's still all the same thing. Then I do my drop correctly this time. I'm going to delay drop the riflemen down there as the first riflemen die out. Second wind, start shocking the microwave, let my bombardiers take that out. These riflemen are starting to come in just in time for that grappler to start hitting them instead of the bombardiers I had. And then things are just, you know, moving underway here. There's a lot of mines hidden along that row there, so I think I used some critters to take those out. Start working on my drops there. These troops, like I said, they go towards that other engine room that you want taken out, so it works out perfectly. Bottom right's gone, they're going to start shooting the other one, and then these guys are going to start hitting that second from the top, so things are going really well. Early flare, artillery to the left, and .243. Another good time. And then he's got another 3-way split. And then he actually drops a boat of bombardiers along the right, just a single boat. They're not hitting my shock mine. They're taking out the defenses. My shock blaster, which I put over there to cover both of those top engine rooms, because all the heavies and things are in the middle of the base, it's focusing on that because it's closer to those than it is the bombardiers on the right. I was really hoping they were going to start, it was going to start picking off the bombardiers, but it just didn't. So he did 234. He did a really good idea with that delay drop of bombardiers on the right. So good job by him. Still get the win, but it made me rethink my shock blaster a little bit. So I'm watching what he did. He's got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then just the one bombardier, and then he brings Kavan on the right, just to use second wind for riflemen. So you don't even need something to protect the riflemen if you can, if you've got Kavan. You can just drop all bombardiers, do an instant second wind, and he'll drop, troops to support your bombardiers. Move the shock mine, and then I'm going to switch out one of these boom cannons just to give a little more range over there. And I think I just moved that closer. Yeah, I want the cannon up front. Since I'm switching out with the boom cannon, the cannon has less range, so I want that protecting that engine room a little bit. The boom cannon's up there, and I'm debating what to do with the shock blaster right now. Do I leave it where it is because I like how it's covering the other engine room, or do I change it? Then, as you can see, I did change it. I swapped them out during that break there, and we'll go into another one. So, working my way back up. I dropped some stars there when I was changing bases, just trying to push back up. And then this is a pretty good base. Along with, I like my base, but this is another pretty good one because they've got those back 3 engine rooms really well protected to where you can't really delay drop Seekers for a long time because they're going to go to these other engine rooms that are on the bottom. So really good job by him. He's trying to force you to do to drop troops on the bottom on both ramps is what he wants you to do with this. And that's you're probably going to lose if you have to do that because by the time you pick off enough defenses on either side with half troops on either side, then you're not going to have enough time to delay drop whatever it is, Seekers or Bombardiers, to get those other engine rooms. So I'm not going to fall for it, but that is what he wants. Lose a Bombardier to that boom cannon. I was a little slow there. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to pick a side, and I chose this right side because those engine rooms are a little closer up top, so I don't have to wait quite as long to do my delay drop that you see I'm holding back on with my remaining troops. And it's really not, I don't lose a lot of troops with this type of base in the line, but it just takes a little extra time sometimes depending on how they have it laid out. So I do my delay drop, letting the riflemen and bombardiers try and go, but they're actually, I still haven't cleared enough for them to go to the top. So I finally take those 2 out, and then a few start peeling off. Not as many as I had hoped, but they do miss that shock mine, which was really nice. The bombardiers got a little close, but I'm going to keep the shock launcher shocked just because it's going to slow me down quite a bit. And then they're taking out those 2 engine rooms just because there wasn't a lot of defenses there. Keep it shocked. Let the bombardiers do what they need to do. And then now they're both simultaneously hitting the engine rooms I want them to hit. So 228, pretty close to a simultaneous finish. Good base on his part. I did that delay drop about as good as I could have, considering that they got pulled into the bottom of his base at one point. So I couldn't have been much faster with that. So that, I don't think I could have really improved on that time. So those mines I moved, good choice. He dropped enough Seekers to hit all those. Then the ones on the right, he pulled in the middle, so they actually miss all those mines. So I actually didn't notice that. I'm going to have to change a couple of those mines to the other side maybe. Then he dropped Seekers on the right. So this was an all Seeker attack. And he does not have Bullet, which would be really helpful if he did. But the ones that went to the right just got taken out. So they're all funneled in the middle. They're all being hit by, you know, the flamethrower, now the shock blaster. A few go to the right, but they get taken out quick. And then he ends up taking out this engine room, but he doesn't have nearly enough. The rocket launchers are just going to take him down, even though he's got that shock blaster down. The shock blaster, even though it's level 1, it doesn't do much for heavy choppers, but I actually really like it for the Seekers. You know, you might be better with a hot pot or a microwave or whatever. I don't remember what the other choices are. I don't think that's one of them. But the shock blaster I do like overall to stop these Seeker attacks, because I know I'm gonna see more of them. I considered changing it to a hot pot, but I realized that I'd have to change my damage amp to a hot pot instead, and I really don't want to do that because I like my damage amp in the middle with all 4 rocket launchers hit. Oh, he did have Bullet on the right there. Huh. Oh, I think that was I just showed a defense there, actually. I forgot to record, so I showed a defense, because that first attack he used Kavan. That was an all-Seeker attack with Kavan that failed. And then I forgot to record that battle, so I just showed you the defense, and that was an all-Seeker attack with Bullet that failed. So I got 2 all-Seeker attacks in a row that failed, which is really nice. Good old Ivan, running into him a lot. He's a heavy chopper, rocket chopper player. He's really good on offense. Little bit of a different base than I've seen in 7 Engine Room. Again, he's trying to make you funnel all your troops to both ramps, but not going to fall for it. Just going to focus on this right side. And because, once I zoom out, I'll show you. But his 4 engine rooms on the bottom here, they're all actually in the middle of that base or a little closer to the right. There's not one way down at the bottom. So I chose to do the right side because they're all clumped together. Do my delay drop, let the riflemen first. They're going to take out those mines. And some of these troops, I think he's trying to pull some of these troops up top instead of down, but I had enough troops there to where some went down to these other 3 engine rooms. But he's got these 3 all clumped up in the middle of that wall there instead of further down the base. So I was able to drop all on the right and still get quite a bit of troops to these engine rooms quickly. So these guys are working on those. Just looking at the microwaver, they're going to take that out before it's unshocked. And then I don't have to worry about the top. They're just working their way. So I'm seeing which engine room I'm going to need to BART out. Usually it's this top one, but I'm just taking a look. So I'm simultaneously hitting both on the bottom, and then I've got that engine room on top being taken out too. And I could have been a little faster with my artillery there, but even still, pretty good time. And he was a little late on his attack. He did a 3-way split as well. He lost Kavan pretty early, which could have really hurt his attack. I've got my boom cannon and rocket launchers taking out some of his bombardiers down there, which he did not want. And because of that, they actually don't take out this bottom engine room all that fast. So he has to wait for that bottom engine room to go before he can flare to the other ones. But I think at this point he knows he's pretty slow, so he's just taking his time. He doesn't even flare engine rooms. He's just going to full clear me. So first, heavy chopper, rocket chopper attack against me. He did pretty well. That's one of the slowest ones I've seen, so that worked as good as I could have hoped. We'll start with the beginning of his attack, maybe. No, maybe I didn't show it. Never mind. So I believe I stop here. again, I have a dilemma. I want more defense. I think that's going to help me. I don't need to go for the Seekers, the heavy choppers yet, because again, that's just going to balance me with everyone else. If I get more defense, I can be ahead. So I may put the microwave with a flamethrower or a machine gun or any of those locations that I just tapped. I'm not really sure where I want it yet. I want the other shock launcher. Oh, I want boom mines. That'd be really nice. Because I'm doing well against the split drop attacks, but the heavy chopper seekers, boom mines would really help me. Same with that shock launcher. Then I've got the building damage. I'm still sort of torn. I don't really know where I'm going to go. I just need to keep playing, see how people attack my base, and go from there. So I changed my base against Larry. That was the first attack against this base, and I've gone 6-1 since. So this seems like a good design. I made the tweaks needed because it didn't start out like this. You know, I got a little bit better over time with the tweaks I made. So I'm going to roll with this for a bit and go with it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with another 7 engine room gameplay. Take care, y'all. Good luck shipping.